So today we'll be learning about and reviewing everything that we've learned so far. So first we'll be talking about adding integers and important rules about adding integers. When you add a positive number, your sum will be bigger than the original number. So when you add a positive number, where you started at, your answer will be bigger than that first number. When you add a negative number, your sum will be smaller than the original number because you're taking away from that original number. With integers, the bigger the negative number is, the smaller it is. Okay, now we're going to talk about a few addition rules. So when you are adding two numbers with the same sign, so -5 plus -2, there's this song you can sing, and it goes with same, add, keep. When the signs are the same, you add and keep the sign. So when the signs are the same, they're both negative or they're both positive, you add them together and keep their sign. So we're going to add 5 plus 2, which is 7, and keep our sign, which is negative. So our answer is -7. When the signs are the same, you add and keep the sign. Now there's another saying we can use when the signs are opposite or different. When the signs are different, you take the difference, which is subtract, and keep the sign of the bigger number. Again, it's when the signs are different, you take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So if we have -5 plus 2, we have a negative and a positive, so our signs are different. We're going to take the difference, meaning we're going to subtract our smaller number for our bigger, so 5 minus 2, which is 3, and keep the sign of the bigger number. So our bigger number is -5, so our sign is negative. So our answer to -5 plus 2 equals -3. Again, this is for when the signs are different. When the signs are different, you take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So let's practice a few. So for part 1, we are same, add, keep. So when the signs are the same, you add and keep the sign. So we have -22 plus 4. When the signs are the same, both negative, we add and keep the sign. So 22 plus 4 is 26. We'll add and keep our sign, both negative, so our sign is negative, and our answer is -26. Now we have -45 plus -15. Again, when the signs are the same, we add and keep the sign, so we'll have 45 plus 15. So we get 60. We're not done yet, because when the signs are the same, we add and keep our sign. Both of our signs are negative, so we have a -60. Now here, this is the same thing. They are just both two positive numbers, so the signs are the same. We're going to add and keep our signs. So we have 20 plus 4, which is 24. Our signs are both positive, so it's a positive 24. Now I want you to go ahead and pause the video in a second. Remember, you are going to sing the song. When the signs are the same, add and keep the sign. So you have 4, 5, and 6 you're going to do on your own, and hit play when you're ready. Go ahead and hit pause. Okay, so -10 plus -17. The signs are the same, so we add and keep the sign. 10 plus 17 is 27. Our sign are the same, so we're keeping them as negative. Our answer is -27. Number 5, we have -21 plus -13. Our signs are the same, so we're going to add and keep our sign. 21 plus 13 is 34. Keeping our sign, we have a -34. For number 6, we have -17 plus -8. Our signs are the same, they're both negative. So if the signs are the same, we add and keep the sign. 17 plus 8 is 25, and our sign is negative, so it's a -25. Now here, there are 3 numbers, but we are doing the same thing. We have to add our first 2 numbers, and then we'll add our third number. So we have -6 plus -2. The signs are the same, so we're going to add and keep our sign. 6 plus 2 is 8. And our sign is negative. Plus negative 1. So again, we have a negative and a negative. Our signs are the same, so we're going to add and keep our sign. So adding, we have 8 plus 1 is 9, and our sign is negative. So our answer is negative 9. So for this one, we are doing our first two numbers and then our third. We'll look at our signs. We have a negative 3 and a negative 8. If the signs are the same, we'll add and keep the sign. So 3 plus 8. 3 plus 8 is 11. And we're keeping our sign that we're using, which is a negative. And we'll bring down that negative 9. We'll look at negative 11 plus negative 9. They're both negative, meaning our signs are the same, and we're adding and keeping the sign again. So 11 plus 9 is 20, and we'll look at our signs, which are both negative. So we have a negative 20. I want you to go ahead and look at number 9 on your own. Remember, you'll add your first two numbers and then your third number. Go ahead and hit pause. Okay, we have negative 32 plus negative 4. Negative plus a negative, the signs are the same, so we're going to add and keep our sign. 32 plus 4 is 36. Our signs are both negative, so it's a negative 36. Then we're bringing down that negative 9, so we have negative 36 plus negative 9. Both signs are the same, so we're going to add and keep our sign. 36 plus 9 is 45, and our sign is negative, so our answer is negative 45. Okay, now we're going to talk about our other saying. When the signs are different, we take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So we're going to look at number 1. We have a negative 23 plus 4. So we have a positive 4 and a negative 23. The signs are different, so we have to subtract because we have to take the difference. So when the signs are different, we take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So we'll keep the sign of whichever number is bigger, 23 or 4. 23 is bigger, so we're going to keep that sign. So we have 23 minus 4. To borrow, 13 minus 4 is 9. And 1, so we have 19, but we're not done yet because when signs are different, we take the difference, keep the sign of our bigger number, which is 23, so it's a negative 19. Let's look at number 2. We have negative 45 plus 15. So we have a negative and a positive. Our signs are different. When the signs are different, we take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So we're going to subtract our bigger number, 45, minus our smaller number, which is 15. 5 minus 5 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we have 30, and our sign of our bigger number is 45. So it's a negative 30. Okay, let's look at number 3. We have 4 plus negative 20. We have a positive and a negative. Our signs are different, so we'll take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So we'll have our bigger number on top, smaller number on the bottom, and we'll subtract. Carry it to make it a 10. We'll have 6, bring down the 1. We have 16, and then we take the sign of our bigger number, so we have 4 and negative 20. Negative 20 is bigger than 4, so our sign will be negative. So our answer is negative 16. I want you to go ahead and pause the video in a second. You'll be doing 4, 5, and 6 on your own. If you have any questions on how to do 4, 5, and 6, please raise your hand. Hit pause. Okay, so we have 10 plus negative 17. We have negative and a positive. When the signs are different, we take the difference and keep the sign of the larger number. So we subtracted 17 minus 10, got 7. Our bigger number is 17, so we have a negative 7 for our answer. Number 5, we have negative 21 plus 13. Our signs are different, so we'll take the difference and keep the sign of the larger number. So 21 minus 13 is 8, and our larger number is 21, so our sign is negative. We have a negative 8. Number 6, we have negative 17 plus 8. Our signs are different, so we'll take the difference and keep the sign of the larger number. 17 minus 8 is 9, and we're keeping that sign of our larger number, which is negative, so our answer is negative 9. Okay, let's look at number 7. We have to add the first two numbers, and then we'll bring down our third. So we have negative 6 plus negative 2. These are both negative numbers. Remember, when the signs are the same, we add and keep the sign. So 6 plus 2 is 8, and they are both negative, so it'll be a negative 8. We're going to bring down that 1. So we have negative 8 plus 1. So we have a negative and a positive. Those are different. So when the signs are different, we take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 8 minus 1 is 7. And we have our bigger number is 8, so it'll be a negative 7. Now I want you to see if you can do 8 and 9 on your own. Remember, you add the first two numbers in each of these, and then you bring down the third number. So go ahead and hit pause and hit play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so we have negative 3 plus negative 3 plus 8. We have a negative and a positive. When the signs are different, we take the difference and keep the sign of the larger number. So 8 minus 3 is 5. Our bigger number is 8, so our sign is positive. We have 5 plus negative 9 now. A positive plus a negative, they're different. When the signs are different, we take the difference and keep the sign of the larger number. So 9 minus 5 is 4, and the sign of our larger number is negative. Number 9, we have 32 plus 4. The signs are the same, so we add and keep our sign. 32 plus 4 is 36. We brought down that negative 9. 36 plus negative 9, positive and a negative. The signs are different, so we take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. 36 minus 9 is 27, and our bigger number is positive, so our answer is a positive 27. So now I want you to do number 1, 2, 3, and 4 on your own. You are going to be doing counter models and number models. So I will help you. Actually, we're going to do number 1 together. You'll be doing 2, 3, and 4 on your own. So we have negative 5 plus 3, a negative and a positive. The signs are different. So we're going to take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 5 minus 3 is 2. Our bigger number is 5, so our sign is negative. On our number line, remember, we always start at 0. When we look at our first number, it says negative 5, which means we go negative 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're right here. And we're standing, so we need to draw a line. We need to add 3. When we add, we go to the right. We go 1, 2, 3. And we stopped again, so we need to draw our line. So we landed on negative 2, which we said was our answer. So this is our number line model. We also can use counter models, and we make our first number in our problem first. So we have a we don't have a positive 5, we have a negative 5. So we have 5 negative counters. And our next number in our problem is 3 positive. So when we have positive and negatives, we can cancel them out and make 0 pairs. And if you notice, a 0 pair means nothing. When you have a big circle around these, they mean nothing, like the number 0. So we'll circle all of those plus and minuses that match up. Whatever we're left with is our answer. And these are 2. We have 2 left. But it's important to look at our signs. These are 2 negative signs, so we have negative 2 as our answer. So go ahead and do 2, 3, and 4 by yourself and hit pause or hit play when you're ready to go. Go ahead and pause. Okay, let's talk about number 2. We have negative 5 plus negative 3. The signs are the same. They're both negative, so we'll add and keep our sign. So 5 plus 3 is 8, and our sign is negative, so we have negative 8 as our answer. We can also use the number model to help us. The first number says negative 5, so we'll be going to negative 5 on our number line. And it says plus negative 3 more. So 1, 2, 3. We landed on negative 8. We can also draw our counters, and we can draw our first number with 5 negative counters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 negative counters, 1, 2, 3. And normally you can circle and cancel out your 0 pairs, but we have no positives, so we can't do that. So we just count our counter models, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. Number 3, we have 8 plus negative 5. We have a positive and a negative, so our signs are different, So we can take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 8 minus 5 is 3. Our bigger number is 8, so our answer is 3, a positive 3. You can also draw your number model. Starting at 0, you can go to 8. When you're at 8, you decide to go back -5, so we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We land on 3. You can also draw your counter models, which is right here, and you'll have 3 left over. Number 4, you have 3 plus -2. We have a positive and a negative. Our signs are different, so we take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 3 minus 2 is 1, and our bigger number is 3, so our answer should be 1. We can also use our number line. Starting at 0, we'll go to 3. We decide to go back 2, 1, 2, and we land on 1. You can also see in our counter models we have 1 left over. Okay, now we're going to talk about subtracting integers. Remember, keep, change, change. Now with number 1, you could keep and change it so it's -2 plus -8, but you can also just subtract, because if you have a negative number and you're subtracting even more, your number is going to get even smaller or even more negative. So 2 plus 8 is 10, and they're both negative, so we'll have a -10. Same with number 2. They're both -2 minus 19. You're just getting even more negative, so it's 2 plus 19, 21, and there it's even more negative, so it's a -21. I want you to do number 3 on your own. Hit play when you're ready. Go ahead and hit pause. So we had -4 minus 13. We're getting even more negative. 4 plus 13 is 17, and it's -17. Now here's our change, keep, change, change. These ones are like the ones we did in class. -10 minus -17. When you subtract a negative number, it's just like adding. If you notice, these two negatives in this parenthesis looks like a plus sign, doesn't it? So we're really just adding this 17. So it's -10 plus 17. And it's a negative and a positive now with a plus sign in the middle, which means we can use our addition rules. So the signs are different, so we take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 17 minus 10 is 7, and we keep the sign of our bigger number, and our bigger number is 17, so our answer is just 7. Then we also have number 5. Remember, this right here looks like a little plus sign, so we can just change it into a plus sign. So we have -21 plus 13. So when the signs are different, negative and positive, we take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 21 minus 13, borrow, we get 8 as our answer, and our larger number is 21, and it is negative, so our answer is -8. Again, we have -17 minus parentheses -8, and this looks just like a plus sign. So we have 17 plus 8. The signs are different now, so we can take the difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 17 minus 8 is 9, and I'll keep the sign of the larger number, which is a negative, so your answer is -9. I want you to do 7, 8, and 9 on your own. If you have any questions, raise your hand, and go ahead and hit pause. Okay, so we have -16 plus 38. Or I'm sorry, we have -16 minus -38, which when we subtract a negative number, it turns it into addition. So we have 38 minus 16 now. Our answer is 22. And then we look at the sign of our larger number, which is 38, so our answer is a positive 22. So number 8, we have -3 minus -9. When we're subtracting a negative number, it's just like adding it. So now the signs are different, and we'll take the difference and keep the sign of the larger number. So 9 minus 3 is 6. Our larger number is 9, so our answer is 6. So we have 32 minus -14. When we're subtracting a negative number, it's just like adding a positive. So we have 32 plus 14. Now our signs are the same, so we'll add and keep the sign. 32 plus 14 equals 46, so our answer is 46. For this problem, we are going to use the counter model and number line to also solve. So we have 3 minus negative 2. This is a keep, change, change because it looks just like a plus sign. We're subtracting. Now that we changed it to our plus sign, we keep, change, changed it, we have 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 equals 5. I want you to go ahead and draw your number model that matches this problem and your counter model. Hit play when you're ready. Go ahead and hit pause. Okay, so here's our number model. We started at 0 and we want to go 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now we have to add 2 more. We're standing on 3. We want to go 2 more. 1, 2, and we land on 5. We also draw our counter models. Our first number is 3 and it's positive, so 3 positive counter models. And our second number is 2 and they are 2 positive counter models. We can count those up and we get a positive 5 as well. Okay, now I want you to we're going to talk about absolute value. So remember, the absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on a number line, or the number of hops or units. So if we have 0, we have negative 6, and we have positive 6. The distance negative 6 is from 0 is the same as the distance positive 6 is from 0. They're both 6 units, or 6 hops away. That's with any number. Your answer for absolute value will always be positive. So we have the absolute value of negative 24. How far away is negative 24 from 0? 24 spaces. So the absolute value of negative 24 is 24. The absolute value of 55. 55 is 55 spaces away from 0 or units. So our answer is 55. Now number 3 is a little different. Remember that if we have the absolute value around an operation, you have to solve the operation inside that absolute value first and then take the absolute value. So we need to solve 12 minus 7 before we can do the absolute value. So 12 minus 7 is 5. So we need to solve the absolute value of 5. And the absolute value of 5 is just 5. Okay, we are going to do number 4. So we have the absolute value bars around negative 18 plus 9. We have to solve the operation inside the bars before we can take the absolute value. So negative 18 plus 9, we have a negative and a positive. If we're adding a negative and a positive, the signs are different, so we're going to take the difference and keep the sign of the larger number. So 18 minus 9 is 9. And we're going to keep the sign of our larger number, which is 18, so it's a negative 9 in our absolute value bars. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9. Now number 5 is a little different than 3 and 4. The absolute value bars are around negative 3 and it's around 22. So we need to take the absolute value of each of these numbers before we can add them together. So the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. And the absolute value of 22 is 22 because 22 is 22 spaces from 0. So now we have 3 plus 22, and 25 is our answer. Okay, I want you to go ahead and do 6, 7, 8, and 9 by yourself. When you're finished, go ahead and hit play. Please pause the video. Okay, so the absolute value of 8 is 8 minus the absolute value of negative 16. The absolute value of negative 16 is 16, so we have 8 minus 16. We have a positive and a negative. When the signs are different, we take the difference and keep the sign of the larger number. So 16 minus 8 is 8, and we keep that negative sign. The absolute value of negative 195 is 195. Then we have the absolute value of 25 minus 5, and we have to solve the operation inside the absolute value first. So 25 minus 5 is 20. We have to keep these absolute value bars there. So the absolute value of 20 is 20. Then we have number 9, the absolute value of 12 plus 7. We need to add the operation inside the absolute value bars first. So 12 plus 7 is 19 in our absolute value. The absolute value of 19 is just 19. Okay, now we're going to talk about comparing integers. We will be using the greater than, less than, or equal to sign. If you have an absolute value in any of these problems, you need to solve for the absolute value first and then decide your signs. So we have 16 and the absolute value of negative 16. So the absolute value of negative 16 is just 16. So we have 16 and 16, and those are equal to. We have negative 3 and negative 8. Which number is smaller? When we have a negative number, the bigger the number is, actually the smaller it is. So negative 3 is greater than negative 8. So number 3, we have the absolute value of 5 minus 4. We need to solve whatever is in our absolute value before we can take the absolute value. So 5 minus 4 is 1. The absolute value of 1 is 1. So we have 1 and 11. 11 is the bigger number, so we have 1 is less than 11. I want you to go ahead and try 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 on your own. Go ahead and hit play when you are ready to check your answers. Hit pause. Okay, so we have 27 and 55. Our bigger number, we want to have, do you want to have $27 or do you want to have $55? We want to have 55, so our greater number is 55. So if 27 is less than 55. Number 5, you have negative 10 is greater than negative 16. Number 6, you have to take the absolute value of negative 13 first before you can solve. So we have the absolute value of negative 13 is 13. So 13 is greater than 12. Number 7 is a little tricky. We have the absolute value of negative 9 minus 8. Negative 9 minus 8 is negative 17, and we need to take the absolute value of it to get 17. 17 is greater than 12. Number 8, we have 25, and the absolute value of 25, which is 25. So 25 is equal to 25. And then number 9, we have 15 is less than 22. Now you're going to go ahead and stop watching the video. You'll be going to work in your Socrative, and you'll be conferencing with me when that's complete.